Great. Great. Süper.
Great. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I am good. How are you doing? How did your day start?
It was great. I'm spending like a week here with my sister in New York, and it was very nice. We had a very Japanese day yesterday. We went to have some really nice Japanese food, and then we watched this movie called Driving My Car. You know, there's like it's like a new Japanese movie. It's very good. And so I was dreaming about Japan, and I woke up nice. I had a good morning. So now it's noon over here, and I'm gonna go to Brooklyn today to check out some music stores and take a walk in a park out there and see some friends. So I'm just kind of a New York holiday, which is nice. I'm enjoying.
I am really so much glad that you are doing this. Yeah, amazing. I am so happy for you. And you
Pleasure.
had concert at Brooklyn as well, right? 8th of April, I guess, for your show.
Yeah, we did that. We did one show in Brooklyn Friday. Yeah, in a place called Elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the band went home on Saturday. So I'm the only one staying.
Okay, and congratulations with your last album. You are on tour because of that as well. How has the concerts been like so far?
It's been really, really nice. It's been very different than shows we've been doing before. I feel maybe it's also to do a bit with the last couple of years with Corona and the whole situation that we've been in. It feels like the show is. We've been trying to build a show that has all these different phases of Efterklang, because Efterklang is an old band after all. We've made like 6 albums and existed for a long time, so we have a lot of different vibes of music. But the new live set is trying to sort of embrace all of these different sides of us, I feel, and at the same time it has this really new, refreshing energy to it, which I've been really enjoying to see how people have been, you know, getting into, and just sort of like, you know, experiencing it, seeing people experiencing what we do. That's the kind of that's the thing I've been missing the last couple of years, is just to see people's reaction, to have that symbiosis of playing live music, being in a room with someone, and seeing, what happens if we do this, or so. I feel like it's been just so refreshing for both us and then the people coming out to the show to have this moment of spending time together. And I feel the show it feels like a very new show that we've never done before. I won't say too much, except from that we will have definitely a lot of different. There's a little strange storytelling in that show, and I think it sort of came a little bit out of that song, Living Other Lives, that is off the new album, and this idea of spending time alone and spending time with other people on the internet, but also like kind of living other lives, like kind of like being yourself, but also being able to be so many different people at the same time, and sort of celebrating this kind of crazy time we're living in. Where it's possible to really connect with people around the world. It's really possible to understand, and it's possible to live other people's life, and it's possible to. It feels really, I don't know, strangely connected after all we've been going through.
Yeah. And what about Windflowers? How was like the process of creating it?
It was a very playful album to make. I really enjoyed the process. We basically just we decided that we wanted to go to the countryside. We are all from the countryside in Efterklang. We kind of grew up in an island, and so we thought it would be nice to find a studio where we could just kind of play around that would have enough space for us to, be outside and inside, and there would be a piano and a nice place we could also play some drums. And so a lot of this album, in compared to albums we made before, has been restricted to very few people, and most of the music has been made just the three of us together. So it felt really like returning to the core of Efterklang somehow, and in a way also just hanging out as friends again. Like Rasmus had a kid 7 years ago, and Mads just had a kid, and we are like, growing older, and things are like changing, and so to reconnect as a band was very important for us. To just find this moment of playing and going into this fantasy state, which I think Efterklang has always been. It's about like trying to make, just we have this little world going between us, but every now and then we walk in there and we start making music, and we start getting into this world of creation, and then the Efterklang music comes out of that. We just have to decide on what that frame is, and this time the frame became this sort of country house, and we brought a lot of sketches that I had made in Lisbon, and Mads had made a lot of sketches in Copenhagen, and we sort of got together in that country house and then started like listening to it, and it was a really nice process. I feel it was a very and it was also very needed, and it was, in a way, you can say it was lucky in this really strange situation of COVID that we found and had each other to go through this process together. This was the kind of thing I think we really discovered here, was that it's so nice that we can do this, that this is what we do. Like we're doing music together, and doing music in a time like this is really fantastic tool. So
as trio, how different are you guys? Like, or maybe at some points you are very similar about thinking about some stuff. How does those creation stuff happens with those three people?
In Efterklang, it's three quite different people, and the older we get, the more strange we go. So it's like a tree that branches out in different directions. So I think with Efterklang, it's a lot like the mechanism is usually that I would write some sketches. Mads is also usually writing something, and I'm singing on top of his stuff, or he's playing a bit on top. And then Rasmus is also the manager of our band, so he plays bass, but he also is the third ear that listens to the sketches first, that tells us what he thinks. Maybe we worked on something for a very long time, and then he comes and listens to it, and he says, "Oh, it's just not good," or or "This is good," or So he's the one that usually is saying his opinion, and he's the one that we know the most, and he's the one that listens to the things first. So the way it usually works with Efterklang is that we have all these song ideas, or even just small little loops or something and the back of stuff, and then there's a filtration process going on where we all have to agree that this is really what we want to do. It's strange. It's kind of like a cow or something. It goes through the 7 stomachs or something like that many times, and at some point we find these songs that we think, okay, these are the ones that we all have agreed and filtered and processed. And usually it's a long process. It's sort of not necessarily so much like long working on it, but over long time, listen to the song, work a bit on it, leave it a bit, go away for a week or two, come back to it again, and then so it's sort of like this like a painting or something like that we come back to, and we continue over time. Like Efterklang music is usually, I think for me, that's one of the main ingredients is that it's created over time. So it sparks from an instant usually an intuition or an jam or.
Yeah.
But then for it to be an Efterklang song, it needs to kind of lay around and ferment a little bit.
I was going to ask like the very beginning of this process actually, like what are your inspiration sources? What are, like maybe you see something, you want to create something, you hear something. What about them?
Yeah, I think create my inspiration comes from many places. I love to listen to music and like just figure out what's going on and sort of try to see if there's something that inspires me, like a sound. Or this time really like to work with vocoders, like robotic voices, and Efterklang haven't always worked with very natural voices, so it was really nice to sort of start working with this character of a robot.
Yeah.
And I think also just like in generally, I love like watching films. I love taking walks and writing a little bit of just observations of what I see. Or this time also, I worked closely with my friend Melanie Mathieu from Brussels, who's like a writer, and we were going through a lot of the lyrics. I got a little bit deeper into the lyrics than I usually would do, thinking about it. And for me, inspiration is kind of anywhere. It's like at the closest friends I have, like, can inspire me.
Yeah.
I listened a lot to Laurie Anderson's. Laurie Anderson had these like talks or series of talks for Harvard University, and I thought that was just amazing. And so yeah, so I just I feel it's just about picking up what is around me, and a lot of that stuff is sort of seeping into the music. It's not always like clear that song is that inspiration, or that it's more like this kind of a word or a vibe or a beat or a tempo, or oh, I like that kind of tempo of that song. What is that tempo? Oh, it's like a 16. Okay, it's like that kind of like, you know what I mean? It's just been. I feel for me, it's a inspiration is coming from being aware or something like that. It's there all the time, but it's when I'm aware of it that it's coming into my own music.
Your performances are like very unique as well. How do you get ready for all of them? How do you create? How do you come up with that idea at first, maybe?
The developed one? Or which one did you say?
I asked that your performances, they're also very unique, like you are on stage and creating something there as well. How do you get ready for it?
Or the outfits?
No, like performancing on the stage.
Sorry. The performance stage. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good question. I think it's again like it's a sort of like, usually it's a combination of different things. Like, for example, this time we've been playing with a new drummer who's also an amazing singer, an amazing drummer called Emilie Espedikokke. She's also joining us in Turkey, and she comes from, say, like more like hip hop, R&B kind of music, which feels very different from what we're doing. But she comes from doing choreography. She comes from doing dance, making music, putting music into the body. It's like with Efterklang, we have been a lot in our minds,
Yeah.
and so it's, so an inspiration, like just an example would be like, okay, so then she's joining the band, and then she comes in with this energy, which is way more physical, the way she plays the drums, and then we had this moment in the concert where we were like, oh, maybe we can make some sort of dance, and she helped us like making a little choreography stuff. So it's I feel every time we're doing a new performance, there's like another cast of people or someone just around us that is inspiring, and in that becomes the inspiration of the show, becomes to make the band. The band is it. It's an Efterklang performance is about the people that are on stage. It's not about like I mean, it's about me singing, it's about Rasmus playing bass, it's about Mads doing his electronics, it's about Emilia doing her thing, it's about Christian or Simon, a lot of different people, or Oyon, who's also been playing drums, and then trying to find this band and find out what is special about this band. What is special about this band, and then next time, if it's a different group of people, what is special about this band, and try to just make something happen with those people and build a little story, or make it feel like, I feel that that's the best shows I've been seeing myself. I'm always trying to think of what do I get excited about when I go out seeing a band, you know. And one of the things that I get excited about seeing a band is when I see that each and every one who's on stage has their own thing going. I don't want to see a band where there's just three people standing around because they are doing exactly what they should be doing or something like that. I want to see a band where everyone has their own character, even if that's like outgoing or it's introvert or it's whatever it is. So I think it's a lot, for me, it's like building a live show. It's a lot to do with getting the right vibe in the group of that we are, and then try to find out what is this group of people and who are these people playing and what could they potentially give to the show, and then give space for that, you know. So the last couple of shows has been really wild. Over here in the US, we had a choir from each city every night. So there was a choir from every city we went to that came and joined us for a couple of songs, and we would meet them doing sound check, and then they would join us doing the show, and we would have some guests that would come and sing with us. And like the last couple of shows has been more about sort of inviting people in, I feel like playing with people rather than for people. So this has been some sort of like, that's the Efterklang I've known for the past couple of years or something like that. And then over time, you know, it changes and it becomes different. I love live shows, and I love touring, because when you tour with music, it's a privilege, because every night you can adjust this little machine. You say, oh, you know, we should go from that song to that song straight away, or like we should keep it lingering here, make some noise, and then go into this crazy, and then go really quiet. You know, there's a lot of dynamic changes and switches, and it's not like a theater piece where you have a manuscript. It's much more abstract in a way. It's just songs or vibes and stuff like that. But it can feel at times, sometimes, like it's like a theater piece that we are building it every day and adding a little bit to it, and so on. So I think we all really enjoy this process, and I hope and I see that people are kind of enjoying watching us enjoying that, and that's I think is the process. Like, we really enjoy playing live, and I see that people enjoy watching it, because we're enjoying it too.
And you will come to Istanbul and perform at 27th of April. Yeah, this is not the first time you performed at Istanbul before. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. I really can't wait. I love Istanbul, really. I had a very soft spot for Istanbul for a long time. I watched this Crossing the Bridge movie that came out many years ago. And that movie basically it really inspired me to go to Istanbul. So I went there for a trip also many years ago, and I've been going there many times. My brother worked there for a while, and I went to visit him a lot. And we've, as you said, we've been playing many times in Istanbul, and I have good friends there. And so I really like the city. It's such a special city. It's a really special vibe, the way that it's sort of balancing between a culture and like a world that I know quite well, which feels like where, you know, being a Danish boy or something like that. But at the same time, it also feels super exotic and wild and weird and totally different. I had the pleasure of also driving a bit around in Turkey, and up to Samson, all the way over to
Wow.
Rize and like Chamley-Hemsen. I went, of course, to Ankara and what is the crazy the crazy place called in the middle, Cappadocia, Cappadocia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've always have found Turkey, it's and like very special. I think it's a very special country you have, and a very special people you have. Like it's a sort of very fragmented country with a lot of different kinds of people, and the nature is completely wild. The mountains and so on. And Istanbul sort of seems to kind of embrace all of that. It's like all the Muslim culture. It's all the Western influence. It's fashion. It's traditional music. It's like Selma. It's like psychedelic Turkish music from the 70s. It's just all this amazing clash of things, and I really love that.
Yeah, thank you so much. I asked my questions, and I am so glad that you came to this meeting from that beautiful weather of New York. Thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to add?
Hey, no, I just am very happy to talk to you. Thanks for it was so nice to talk to you, and we can't wait to see you in Istanbul. It's gonna be so nice to be back and playing again. We have been missing you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Have a good evening.